Hey, it's Dawn and you're watching Growing Up Chaotic, the channel where I candidly share with you how I survived growing up in an alcoholic, drug-addicted, mentally, emotionally, and physically abusive family. If I can survive and thrive after all of that, I have no doubt that you can too. Today I want to share a personal story, a bit of a memory, if you will. I can remember sitting across from my stepfather Joe at the kitchen table. And in his hands, he would have a stack of multiplication flashcards. And he would be staring at me with his beady little eyes, like drilling right into the center of mine as he flashed each card in front of my face. What is 8 times 5? And I would say, And then he would say, come on, what is 8 times 5? We did this one already. Think about it, 8, 5 times. And then I would go, 30? And he'd be like, no, we did this one already. You know what it is. Think 8, 5 times and don't use your hands. And all I can remember is sitting there having these tears just like start to roll down my face. And I felt completely trapped. And as much as I wanted to figure out the right answer, I couldn't, because all I could hear in my panicked little 6-year-old brain was, you're so stupid, look what you've done, you're so stupid, why can't you get anything right, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. And of course I wouldn't answer, so my stepfather would get up from the kitchen table and he would walk over to the fridge, get another beer, and then stumble out into the living room, where he would turn to my mother and say something like, she's your effing kid, you go help her. And my mom would come in the room and she'd step up behind me and she'd grip a lock of my hair in between her pointer and middle finger and wrap it around those 2 fingers, and she would pull my ear right up to her mouth and she would pierce her lips like this, and I could smell the alcohol on her breath. And she would whisper something nasty in my ear like, you see what you've done, you little bitch? You wanna act dumb? You wanna act dumb? Keep it up. And then she would let me go. She'd smack me upside the back of the head and then go back into the living room. And of course, they would keep drinking, and sooner rather than later, the drinking would turn verbal insults into physical assaults, and the fighting would just go bonkers from there. You see, I learned as a kid, growing up in an alcoholic, abusive home, that I was responsible for my parents' feelings, for their actions, and for their drinking. You see, because in my head, when that fighting started, all that I would be thinking to myself is, you see, if you would have known what 8 times 5 was, then Joe wouldn't have gotten mad at you, then Mom wouldn't have gotten upset with you, she wouldn't have smacked you upside the head, they wouldn't have kept drinking, they wouldn't have started fighting, and none of this stuff would be happening right now. I became very skilled at taking responsibility for the things that my parents were doing. Now, I couldn't see the loopholes in this logic at the time, but the lesson stuck with me and it shaped who I am today. As an adult, I still struggle with taking responsibility for things that consciously I know I have no control over. And as a result, I find it difficult to assert myself and set boundaries with people without feeling overwhelmingly guilty. Now, I'm still, to this day, working out the kinks in these messages. And my best advice to you, if you grew up in a similar situation, you find yourself feeling overly responsible for things still as an adult, my best advice for you would be to find someone that you can trust. Find someone that knows your story. Find someone that knows your background. Find someone that isn't going to judge you. And whenever you feel that crazy going on inside your head, talk it out with this person. I do it with my husband all the time. Whenever I start feeling really bad and I start beating myself up inside because I think that I've done something wrong, I think that there's something I need to take responsibility for, I talk it out with him and he says, look, none of that happened. It's okay. You didn't do anything wrong, you know, and we work through it, and then before I know it, I kind of come back into my adult mind and I see I didn't do anything wrong. I have nothing to take responsibility for here. So if you have specific coping mechanisms that you use when you start to get a little crazy upstairs, when you start to feel a little overly responsible for something, I'd love to hear about it in the comment section below. And of course, if you know of anyone that you think could benefit from this video, please share it with them. Of course, you can also follow me on Twitter at growingupchaotic, and to get additional insight and inspiration, you can stop by the Growing Up Chaotic blog at www.growingupchaotic.wordpress.com. That's all that I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.